And here we are, turning back on the campaign promises, and we bombed Iran on behalf of Israel. Yes, it was on behalf of Israel. We're entering a nuclear war, World War III, because the entire world is going to erupt. And you want to know the people that are cheering it on right now? Their tune is going to drastically change the minute we start seeing flag draped coffins on the nightly news, on Fox News that brainwashes all the baby boomers, and on CNN that brainwashes all the Democrat baby boomers. And that is exactly how this is going to go down.
So there's this guy, Mark Levin, who's foaming at the mouth for war with Iran. And here's what he said this. This is interesting because
times the military has to be used if it's used by a smart commander-in-chief, if it's used wisely, if it's used for a specific purpose, it gives us peace. So I want the so-called, I don't know what to call them, people running around, warmonger, the sloganeers. This should be an education for you, too. This should be an education for you, too. America, don't you feel relief? Of course you feel relief. Because these Islamo-Nazis were building nuclear weapons to attack us, too, with intercontinental ballistic missiles. Guess what? You can go to bed peacefully tonight. No, that's not going to happen.
That's the exact thing that Saddam Hussein is trying to get weapons of mass destruction so he can attack us. Why in the F would a country like Iran or Iraq or any want to attack the biggest military in the world? Again, so that's Mark Levin, and he's telling you you're supposed to feel, boy, didn't you rest easy? Didn't you sleep better last night because Trump started a war with Iran? No. In fact, I was worried about a retaliatory strike inside the United States, like most people were.
Which wise leader is he talking about that used force? I can't remember us ever winning a war as long as I've been alive.
Because we haven't. Well, you don't remember Grenada? It was fantastic.
Aside from the triumph of Grenada.
So here is Marjorie Taylor Greene. She tweeted this out. She says, MAGA is not for foreign wars. We are not for regime change. We are for America first. The United States should not be involved in fighting nuclear-armed Israel's war with Iran.
All right. The title of this lesson is going to be More Division in the House of Esau, or the House of State. All right. First and foremost, I'm going to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushua, the Hashem. I hope the election will run some start SALACHYA. Let's start with Luke 12:49. It says, I am come to set fire on the earth, and what will I if it be already kindled? All right, this is speaking about the return of our Lord Yahushua. We pray in patience that he returns soon, because every day we're here, it's a hellhole. Everything's out of order. All right, things are not doing what things don't have their intended purpose, in this world. Everything is upside down, which I'll get to in Isaiah 29. All right, so the division is one of the things that are promised to be going down in the time of the Lord's return. Okay, look at these MAGA guys fighting. See. Matthew 12:25, and it says, Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation. Okay, so MAGA is a division of the so-called left Democrats. All right, and although this is in political theater, this has gotten more and more polarized and radicalized. Okay, they've gotten more hatred for each other in red, blue. It used to just be political differences, so you have a debate here or there, but now you got people get divorced because they're a so-called blue team or a red team. Okay, you got people going to the spirit world because they're on the opposing side. You got people getting fired, losing their jobs, all because of their politics. So this thing has gotten out of hand. Okay, it's off the rails, as they say. All right, and then now you have MAGA divided within itself. See, so these are more and more divisions that are going on. Okay, it says, in every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. So this place is already doomed. Okay, it's already going to go the way of the dodo, as they say, which the dodo was a bird that went extinct. Okay, a while ago. All right, it says, verse 26. And if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? All right. Now this is on the backs of yesterday. Trump talking about, little Satan, aka Israel, doesn't know what the F they're doing. Because they're Edomites too. All right. The Europeans are split. They're fractured. And then you're going to see more and more of this, SALACHYA. You're going to see more and more of this as we get closer and closer to the Qaragma. And there will be an attack. There will be a retaliatory attack on America. Okay? That is imminent. Okay? And it doesn't even have to be by a foreign. It'll be by your own government. Okay? Let's listen a little bit more. I haven't seen this video.
And here, watch, she goes off. This is kind of good.
I know. Don't watch his show. But no, I didn't sleep better after neocons and warmongers talked this administration into entering a hot war that Israel started after Netanyahu barely won a vote. He barely won a vote by 2 votes in order to stay in power the day before Israel attacked, an unprovoked attack, Iran. Now, I'm not making apologies for Iran. I have no...
So I didn't, by the way, that's a little news for me. I didn't know that they had some kind of a vote inside of Israel to see if Benjamin Netanyahu could remain in power, and he won by 2 votes. And then the next day he does the war with Iran. Did you know that, Kurt? I didn't know that.
So if there's not World War III, it means they're, like I said at the outset, they're going to pin the whole thing on Bibi Netanyahu and act like Israel's doesn't even.
Right.
I already hear that. I already hear that from people.
Yeah.
Like, I hate him.
Yeah.
Die hard Zionist.
He's going out. Okay, that whole land over there, that's going out. There will be a World War III. Okay, how do we know? Joel 3 verse 9. Okay, it says, "Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare a war against the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, and let them come up." All right, what is this talking about? This is talking about the preparation for World War III. In Matthew 24, it speaks about the wars and the rumors of wars. Okay, these are the rumors starting. Okay, World War III has been a rumor for a while. Wow, how have we been talking about World War III for decades now, or potentially for decades, and it hasn't, and we haven't actually gone there yet, because everybody knows it's coming, it's imminent, you can feel it. All right, verse 11, "Assemble yourselves and come, all you heathen, gather yourselves together round about thither, cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord Yahweh," because the angels are going to be involved. Okay, the angels are going to be involved when these nations start gathering together. They start preparing war and laying out the battlefield. You're going to see hella chariots, man. Okay, you're going to see hella chariots, and miracles are going to be going on in that day. And we're very, very, very close. And I'm talking about boots on the ground, okay, all-out warfare, okay? See, verse 12, "Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat," which means the valley of decision or judgment, okay? "For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come get ye down, for the press is full, the fat overflow, for their wickedness is great." Why does it say it's full? Because it's going to be all of the nations are going to be involved in one way, shape, or form. Okay. It says multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord Yahweh is near, the valley of decision. Okay. And what's that? What is that day? That day is really the day where the nukes hit America specifically. Okay. And that day is going to come. All right, but the chariots are going to be there to deliver.
This is saying that to me.
Right?
Yeah. Okay, so here we go.
Investment in the terrorist regime of Iran. But the reality is no American slept better after America bombed Iran, because all of a sudden we now have threats on our homeland.
Right.
We now have warnings from our State Department for Americans overseas. Qatar put out a warning to Americans to shelter in place. Americans in Israel are terrified for their lives, as well as Israeli people are terrified for their lives, because bombs have been falling in Israel. And and Americans all over the world are seriously questioning, is this going to be World War III? So no, I didn't sleep better, regardless of Mark Levin's silly name calling. And I don't think any American is sleeping better after this, Steve.
What's going to happen? You're coming back. Everybody's coming back. They're going to be here tomorrow. You guys are going to get briefings. What's going to happen? Are other voices going to get in to start advising the president, ma'am?
Well, I got to add on one more thing, Steve, and I'm sure you've covered it on your show. Mark Levin was one of the biggest never-Trumpers when President Trump was running for president. So it absolutely makes me sick. It makes me want to throw up in my mouth that he's one of the voices that is constantly texting and calling President Trump's phone and showing up at the White House demanding for America to go to every single foreign war on behalf of Israel. You know, I'm really sick and disgusted at that. And it's people like him and Lindsey Graham and all these other people that never really supported Trump in the beginning. People like me, regular people like me, donated to President Trump. We showed up at his rallies. We voted for him. We truly supported him. I've supported him the entire time. Mark Levin was a never Trumper. Compared President Trump.
Because it's a violence, okay? Is it Psalm 73? Psalm 73 and 6. It says, therefore pride compasseth about them as a chain, and violence covereth them as a garment. Their eyes stand out with fatness. They have more than their hearts of wish. So they're salivating over the idea of bombing of the nations. It's being violent, man. There's absolutely no reason, and they know that there's no reason. Okay? Like you said at the beginning of the video, what reason would they have to bomb the biggest military in the world? Okay? What reason would they have to do it? Well, the reason is going to be they're not going to have a choice. Okay? They're not going to have a choice. They're going to get bombed until they're going to just have to respond, and that's what's happening with Iran. Okay? Because this place has to go, man. I said I'll get this up. Okay? Because we should be hastening for this thing to go away, man. For this world to basically be destroyed. And when I say world, I don't mean the earth. Okay, I mean the current rulership and all of these heathen that are proud, that think they got next. That's got to go, man. Okay, if they don't have it, this happened on y'all watch. Okay, this is y'all rulership. Okay, where are we at the very bottom? Okay, Isaiah 29 and 15. Woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from the Lord Yahweh. They say their works are in the dark. And they say, who seeth us and who knoweth us? Right, and this is what you have right here. Like they're running the same play. But the men of the Lord, we see it, okay? We can read the coverage, okay? But they think that we don't know what's going on. Like they're it's impossible for them to do a false flag, or it's impossible for them to incite, riots or throw coups or to lie to you, okay? They'll make you seem like you're crazy. They'll call you a conspiracy theorist, you see? But this place is backwards, and this is why we should hate for this place to go around, go down. Verse 16, it says, surely you're turning the things upside down, shall be esteemed as the pot of clay. What does that mean? That means the things that they're going to make you seem like things that are completely immoral and synthetic and wicked to be completely natural. Think about what's going on with gender wars right now. Okay, it says, for shall the works of him that framed it he made me not, or shall the things framed say of him that framed it he had no understanding? And then that's what you have. That's the attitude that you have with the current rulership, which will be swiftly put down. Okay? And this thing is going to be divided and divided and divided until it ain't no more pieces left. Last precept, and I'll end it. It says, Daniel 2 and 40, it says, and the 14 shall be strong as iron, for as much as iron breaketh in pieces, and subdueth all things. And as iron that breaketh all things, it shall break in pieces and bruise. Okay, that's the American military, which today is NATO. All right, and it says, and whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of the potter's clay and part of the iron, the kingdom shall be divided. See, and there shall be in it of the strength of iron, for as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay. And that's going to be the American military among these other European nations. Okay, which a lot of it, those are remnants of the Soviet Union. A lot of these are lesser European countries there's a lot of these Europeans today, the modern day borders, they're balkanized from the Tin Horns. Okay, you look at Europe. I think Europe has what I don't know what 30, 40 countries, something like that. But they really come out about 10 kingdoms. Okay, and so a lot of those lesser known kingdoms, they don't have military. They're relying on NATO. Okay, and it says, and whereas SALACHYA, verse 44, verse 43, it says, and whereas thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron It's not mixed with clay. So the people that have the power, okay, they're not going to be with the people that don't have the power, even though they're in those nations and occupying. You know, the Europeans about to have a major issue with the military power of America, and ultimately this is gonna result in Revelation 17. Okay, when it says these shall hate the whore and burn her with fire, they're gonna turn on this place, man. Okay, verse 44, and in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed. That's us. All right, and it says, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people. So all you even got to sit your ass down somewhere. All right, and it says, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. So that's the latter end of this place. So World War III will go down, America will go down, and it's going to happen soon. You know, Lord willing, this year. You know, but we'll have to see. Anyway, going to end it there. Lord willing, this is edifying. Call for Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Shem Mashiach Shalom. Amen.